character just looks gay. Well, meet Mike. Which one of these characters is a lesbian baddie that's gonna come over and make you dinner? Oh, Olivia is? Oh, great.
All right, in more groomer news, Libs of TikTok has this that says these are internal messages from a 4th grade elementary teacher in Austin Independent School District. She's upset that an entire week dedicated to LGBT still wasn't good enough. And coincidentally, 20 out of 32 of her 4th graders are LGBT and have come out to her. Okay, so we talked last week about in Austin schools, they had a Pride Week, which included having a forced Pride march through the hallways, and they decked all the kids out in rainbow stuff and all that kind of thing. And they had signs and they were waving flags and marched through the schools. And they had community. This was where they had the community circles where they'd sit all the kids around and they'd tell secrets, and they were told, don't tell anybody outside the circle, especially your parents, about the secrets. But teachers are upset that this happened, not because it was totally inappropriate, but because it shouldn't just be a week, it should be an entire year. So here's this teacher from an internal message, 4th grade elementary teacher, says, I feel that it is inappropriate to call our parade this morning a wellness walk. While I understand that wellness walk is something that was previously in motion to promote health and fitness and is something we want to continue, it really takes away from the experience of celebrating Pride to couple the two. The first Pride was a riot. It is not enough to just welcome, love, and celebrate queer folks with an X. Your allyship should always lead you to activism, speaking up and fighting for what is right, even when it feels uncomfortable. We can't choose in and out of our protest spaces. And then it continues, out of the 32 students that I teach, 20 of them are LGBTQIA+ and have come out to me. I feel that we need to do better for them. To affirm our students, I think it would only be appropriate and right to publicly announce that what we had this morning was a pride parade. Our students are aware and are paying attention. Okay, so a big part of her problem is that they had a march through the schools and there were pride flags and everything, but they didn't specifically call it a pride parade, and that's what she's worried about. But let's put all that to the side and just focus on this detail for a moment. This is a 4th grade teacher saying that 32 students, 20 of them in 4th grade are LGBT, she says, and have personally come out to her. 20 out of 32. That's as opposed to like everybody else's experience if you're an adult in 4th grade and basically no kid would have identified as LGBT. It just wasn't on the radar. You weren't thinking about it. You weren't talking about it. Now 20 out of 32, she says. And she says it proudly. This is not a secret that she wants to keep. This is, to call this a social contagion, I think understates the facts of the matter. But this is something unlike anything that the world's ever seen. We are watching an entire generation of children be reshaped and reformed in front of our very eyes. Laws protecting kids is like the least, that's starting level of what we need to be doing. I want to play this quick clip from a preschool teacher talking about how her students, you barely call them students in preschool, but anyway, they are very good allies, she says. Listen.
I posted that video on my Instagram as well, and it got an insane amount of hate. So I'm going to share more positive interactions with the preschool age kids I work with. For context, I'm a trans person who does not pass as the gender they identify with. Yesterday, one of the other staff came up to me and she was talking to me and then started talking to the kids about me, and she used she, her pronouns for me. And one of the kids interrupted her and went, he's a boy. So, you know what? Pop off. My biggest allies are 3 years old.
Your biggest allies are 3 years old. Do you know why? Have you thought about why that is? Well, it's because 3-year-olds naturally accept anything you tell them. 3-year-olds have no capacity at all to think critically about anything that an adult says to them. 3-year-olds will have no skepticism at all about anything. 3-year-olds believe in the tooth fairy. You know, they believe that a magical fairy flies through the window at night and confiscates discarded teeth. Not only do they believe it, but it doesn't occur to them to be freaked out by the idea. magical fat man watching them while they sleep and knowing when they're awake and knows if you've been bad or good. Believe it implicitly and without the slightest skepticism. And again, without even, thinking that there's anything terrifying about this prospect. They just accept it. Because 3-year-olds believe anything. And not only do they believe anything, but they believe the framing that you give it. So you tell them this is happening and it's good. The magical fat man is watching you everywhere you go, keeping a list. But it's a good thing, though. And they'll believe that. And that's why, because they're 3. And that's why they're your biggest allies. Because to you, an ally is somebody who compliantly accepts whatever nonsensical claim you make. An ally is somebody with no independent thought process of their own. An ally is someone who doesn't ask skeptical questions, right? An ally is someone who applauds you no matter what you do. An ally is someone who won't even raise an eyebrow skeptically, like no matter what you say. So you could be a woman who's just a woman, making no effort to appear anything but a woman, but you say, yeah, I'm a man. In spite of all that, I'm a man. And to you, an ally is someone who goes, oh, okay, all right. Someone who believes anything and everything you say, no matter what. So yeah, your biggest allies are 3-year-olds. Another way of saying that is this, your victims are 3 years old. Your primary victims are 3 years old, which is really what you are saying. Your brainwashing victims are 3 years old. Your indoctrination subjects are 3 years old. I think that's what's actually being conveyed. Have you ever come across someone saying that capitalism is evil or something similar to that? Maybe in a video online or on TV or just talking to somebody? What was your reaction if you did? When did capitalism become such a hot button issue anyway? It seems like people have strong opinions about it and very little understanding of capitalism as a whole. Luckily, if you're looking to expand your knowledge and horizons on a broad range of topics, including subjects like capitalism, Hillsdale College is offering more than 40 free online courses. That's right, completely free. I do recommend watching their new course, Understanding Capitalism. In just 7 lectures, you'll learn about the role of profit and loss, how human nature shapes our economy, and why capitalism depends on private property rights, the rule of law, and freedom. You'll also discover why capitalism actually encourages morality rather than undermining it, like today's varying political agendas would have you believe. Understanding economics and capitalism empowers individuals and societies to make informed decisions, evaluate policy impacts, anticipate market changes, and ultimately create more prosperous communities. Go right now to hillsdale.edu/Walsh to enroll in this course, Understanding Capitalism. There's no cost. It's easy to get started. That's hillsdale.edu/Walsh to enroll for free. hillsdale.edu/Walsh. We're used to seeing these creepy, disturbing teachers and all content related to that. But this one, picked up by libs of TikTok, may still shock you. I want to put this tweet up on the screen so you can see the screenshot. Hold on, let me pull it myself. Okay, so libs of TikTok reports, male teacher writes about how good it feels wearing women's undergarments to school and coming out as non-binary to his students. And then we have a male teacher here, and here's the picture that he posted online. And he has his own caption. He says, so this is me feeling my best teacher self because I'm wearing panties on a work day for the first time ever, and I feel so good. ID, a tall bearded demi-boy with pomaded hair and glasses wearing a purple and white checked shirt, a gray sweater vest, and a brown tweed jacket with black jeans. And then he continues, I signed up to lead an affinity group for LGBTQIA plus students at my school a while back. The first meeting is this afternoon, and I'm going to be coming out to a bunch of high schoolers as bi and NB. The hell is NB? Non-binary, NB. Okay. I'm a bit nervous. Good vibes / encouragement are needed and welcome. And then there's another follow-up that Libs of TikTok has. This is from last year, March of last year, where he's wearing a dress. His first ever dress feels very teachery. Please be kind. And then he identifies himself as a demi-boy again. And if you're wondering what a demi-boy is, I had to Google that, and it says, an identity that describes someone who identifies with both male and agender genders. What the hell is agender? Okay, now you got to look that up. It's just like, once you start peeling back these onions, you immediately regret it. But So agender is an identity that describes somebody without gender or who does not relate to either binary gender. Okay. So a demi-boy, quote unquote, is someone who identifies as having a gender and also not having one at the same time. Which that doesn't mean anything at all. You know what it means? Here's what all that means. Because that's total nonsense, okay? Absolute nonsense. What it actually means for this creep is that he has a fetish for wearing women's underwear around kids, and this is the label that he puts on it to make it sound, like something we have to affirm and include and accept. That's what that really means, in his case. So this is a teacher announcing that it feels good wearing women's underwear, wearing panties to school, and that he's gonna come out to his students. Like if we were to do a poll, we'd take this, show this to every parent in the country with kids in public school, and poll all of them, what percentage do you think would say that, this is the kind of thing they want their teachers doing? Well, what percentage of those parents would be excited about the idea of a male teacher in his panties who wears them because he says it makes him feel good, sitting down and coming out to his students and having a sexual conversation? Like what percentage, if we were to poll every single public school parent, what percentage would say, oh yeah, that's great. That's exactly what I'm hoping is happening at the school. This is why I send my kid to school. Would we get up to like 0.1%? Would we even make it that high? I really don't think we would. Which is why it's so important to keep, as we talked about, turn on all the lights. And when you turn on the lights, you're going to see a lot of things you don't want to see. But we have to see them. Because here's the other thing that we have to remember here, is that if we don't see it, if we allow these things to happen in darkness, our kids are still being subjected to it. Okay, we'll go here. This is, Libs of TikTok has another one for us. This is a teacher explaining how she teaches gender ideology in the classroom.
My kids from last year are now in 5th grade and they come visit me almost every day after school. And a lot of them are queer because I am queer. And they figured it out. And so I've become their safe space. And today they found my Guess Who. And they started playing Guess Who, but they didn't play it the normal way. How did they play it? They used things like, this person looks like a lesbian baddie who's gonna come over and make you dinner. Well, which one of these characters is a lesbian baddie that's gonna come over and make you dinner? Oh, Olivia is? Oh, great. Which character just looks gay? Well, meet Mike. These kids, I'm so happy that they are figuring out who they are and that they're happy with who they are and that they found a safe place. But man, I could never imagine being in 5th grade saying these things out loud, even though I know they're all okay. I grew up super religious where nothing was okay. And so seeing this happen, I'm like, but I'm also like, yay, but
So this is some sort of, she sounds like a cartoon character, like a Muppet or something like that on crack. But she teaches in a classroom. So let's just, like that person walked into an interview at an elementary school and they said, oh yeah, for sure. You should teach kindergarten. It's not even funny because she's in charge of kids, but she's a complete psycho. And, but that's not even the most relevant part here. I mean, it's pretty relevant that she's psychotic, but the second part of this is she says, they are queer because I am queer. That's what she said. Well, yes, exactly. So while they deny all the grooming charges and everything, they're queer because I am queer, she says. Yeah, it turns out that when you somehow in a position of authority and trust and you promote a certain lifestyle, present yourself a certain way, then you're going to find that the kids in your care begin to reflect that. Who would have thought? It's almost like it's entirely intentional.